One major point of contention between idealist and physicalist is the mind-body problem. Physicalists who do not subscribe to mind-brain identity theory would argue that the brain is a physical object that causes our mental states. They may, for example, point to the famous case of Phineas Gage, who had a metal rod driven through his frontal lobe in a railroad accident that profoundly altered his personality. Or they may point to the simple fact that consuming a significant amount of alcohol directly affects one's mental states. Putting aside the fact that according to idealists, all of that, the rod, the alcohol, and the brain itself, is fundamentally mental to begin with, and that the brain is in consciousness, not consciousness in the brain, let us now turn to a common analogy idealists use to illustrate the relationship between the brain and conscious experience. Consider the process of combustion. In most cases, it manifests as flames, which radiate light and heat. Idealists would argue that just as flames are the observable appearance of the process of combustion, the brain is similarly the appearance of inner mental states as perceived by a third-person observer. So, for example, my internal experience of pain corresponds to what looks like a particular brain state or neural activity from the outside. For example, when viewed in an fMRI scanner. Keep in mind that flames don't cause combustion. They are simply the way combustion looks or appears from the outside. The combustion itself is really the invisible chemical dance behind the flames. Now, combustion is a highly sensitive process. Any interaction with the flames will impact the combustion itself. Even an indirect interaction will change the process. For example, by placing a speaker near a flame and playing a low-frequency sound, one can make the flame vibrate and flicker, affecting the air around it, causing it to vibrate. Those vibrations can then change how the air mixes with the fuel, affecting the combustion process itself, making it burn hotter and faster. In summary, the brain is what my conscious subjective experiences look like from the outside. Manipulating or interacting with the flame, i.e. the brain, will impact the combustion process, i.e. my conscious experiences. However, this does not mean that the flame, my brain, generates or is the cause of the combustion process itself, my conscious experiences. There are other analogies idealists use to illustrate the interaction between the brain and the mind, like the radio analogy. But the one I presented in this video is also a good one, because life, just like fire, is a process, not an object, like a stone. We are the combustion process called life. From the inside, we have experiences that are the combustion process itself. But from the outside, that process looks like flames radiating heat and light.